Hi everybody, Devon C. Ford coming to you from Keystroke Medium. Happy Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon for me. This video, Devon's Chat Corner number 2, bringing in some questions from a couple of Facebook groups. Got the live chat on as well, so jump on that. Ask me anything else. What have I got going on at the moment? Big free promotion, military sci-fi. My first book of what will be a 6-book series is about to be a 4-book series. That is currently free at the moment and topping all of the relevant charts. Top 100 in America at the moment, going quite well. So jump on that. If you've read it already, great. Pass it around. If you haven't, get it, please. Okay, so we'll start with some questions, no particular order. Some of them are serious, some of them are not. We'll start with one that's not. What would be your walk-on music? I won't be able to play it on YouTube, obviously, but we'll go Party Up DMX. Definitely look up that one. Another one from Patterson. Is DCF a pen name? And were you born in Devon? Yes, it is. And yes, I was. Are you nervous or excited about your first book signing from Pauline on the fan club? It's not actually my first book signing. I did one summer before last where there were 4 people there and all of them didn't know who I was. So yes, I am a little bit nervous about going to a book signing, hoping there might be more than nobody who knows who I am. That would be helpful. One from Natalie. How much involvement do you have choosing the audiobook narrator? Can you just pick, or does a publisher choose? Do you audition them? Auditioning your own ones is self-publishing, going through ACX. One of the conditions I make when I speak to my audio people, and with Tantor for one book, with Podium for my main 2 series, The After It Happened and the Leah Chronicles, and also for the expansion series that's being recorded by Luke Daniels. It all depends on the contract. You do and you don't get a say. You get an input on it, and it's always nice to have some negotiation. Some books really lend themselves towards different narrators, and some are just perfect for others. But it is down to the publisher, and I don't think I've been let down at all yet with the choice of narrators. One from Pete. This is an After It Happened question. Do you have a map of the old fort they now live in, or is it just in your head so you can add sections if you need them for the story? I did scribble it down once. Then I need to add a different bit and different bit, and I've got a vague idea of how it looks, but there's not an actual map, purely for the reason that I can change things when I want to. One from Renee. How did you come the character Leah? Another After It Happened question. Was it hard for you making her a rough child soldier? I think you told a lot about that through Dan, but I also believe it was a hard decision. Leah at the time was based on my eldest daughter, who turned 16 this week. Based on her and what a resilient person would do in the apocalypse, and how they would adapt and evolve, and adding in a lot of artistic license, she evolved into a little assassin that everyone loves. But yeah, initially it was a hard decision to make a child take someone's life, but to be realistic about it, she justifies it in a piece of monologue in one of the books as it's an us or a them, and it's not going to be us. So that's how she justifies. That's how I justify it. Another one from Pete. Do you have family trees on the walls for all your books, so you have to remember who is who when 3 or 4 storylines? As with the new Leah books, getting into the 2nd generation, so double the amount of names. The people, not so much, not that difficult. Having the ages of the dogs with the After It Happened Leah Chronicles series, that was quite difficult to keep right, and I ended up with this big long discussion with the editor for that one as to how old the dog should be. I was wrong. One from Pauline. If you could take any book to a desert island, would it be one of yours? No, because I cringe reading my own books. Would you believe it? Do you ever make real characters? Do you ever make real people into characters and make bad things happen to them? Yes, all the time. One from Lorraine. Some authors say their characters can sometimes take on a personality without much help from them. Has a character you created ever done something that's really surprised or shocked you? All the time. They come out with things that I would be offended with, and it's weird. They say and do stuff that they do take on a life of their own. The thing I've covered in earlier videos and interviews, I'm very much a pantser as opposed to a planner. I just jump in, start writing, and in a way, I'm the first one to find out what's going to happen in the book. Even when I do try and plan, it always goes completely off on a tangent minutes later. So yeah, that happens more often than you think. One from Kathy. Where'd you get the name Itchy from? Been looking up again. They're getting various meanings. It's definitely Japanese, but you like it. This is an expansion series question from the Recon ship, which is the home of most of the main characters. The Bokkensha Ichi. It's basically it's a rough approximation of the Explorer 1, but as it was designed and built by a company that was primarily Japanese in the story, ended up with a Japanese name, and it just stuck and went with that, and it rolls quite well, I think. One from Natalie. How do you manage working in collaboration with another author? It always intrigues me when I see two authors have written a book. And I've made myself the worst cup of coffee in a rush before I started. Yuck. Okay, anyone didn't catch my last video, I'm working with two different authors at the same time, working on two very different collaborations. Although they're both science fiction post-apocalyptic, they're very different. Both other authors have very different styles. One of them, is Nathan Heistad of the Survivors fame. He's just released his second series. He's got his second sci-fi series. He's working on his second horror, and he's a machine. If anyone drives me to keep my word count high, it is Nathan. We have a very interesting way of doing that, and we're going to do another video to explain that a later time. We've both got two main characters from the point of view to write in different circumstances. I've got two post-apocalyptic characters, and Nathan's got two science fiction characters. We have a basic story thread and world rules, and we work towards the same point. So very much we're writing the book in two halves from two separate points of view each. So that's how that one works, with the amount of words we put down in a day and how quickly we write. It's working really well, and we are, I'd say, halfway done with that first book already. But I'd say that will be a different video altogether. The other one, working with Chris Harris, so he's a friend of mine locally. He's written the third book in the multi-author series I started, Burning Skies, and that one's going to be out soon. He's co-writing New Earth 2, which is the follow-up to Ark at the moment, and we work very differently in that I'm letting Chris drive. Sounded cocky. Chris is driving the story in direction, and I'm going in and adding the additional detail where he wants me to do certain aspects, and we basically sit down and work together on that one, but very differently. But for me to go and sit down with Nathan would be like a 16-hour flight, and it's really cold over there, so I'm not going to Western Canada. Another one from the group. So for those of you who don't know, my Facebook main page, there is a kind of like a splinter group, separatists, the Devon C. Ford fan page, which is mostly just a bit of silliness, but I do early reveals on there and other things. So check that one out if you're on the Facebook. After writing such a good series, thank you, with many human protagonists, do you still believe in the inherent goodness of humanity? It's a bit deep. Yes, I do. For those of you who know, I was a prison officer for nearly 5 years. I was a police officer for 11. So I've seen a lot of the side of life that people wouldn't normally see. But I I believe in like the reciprocity of life, and for everything good, there's something bad. Good things and bad things happen for reasons. So if you see the worst side of humanity, there is somewhere someone showing the best of it. Right, I got too serious. Let's go to the live chat. Who is there? Hello, Ellen, Lauren. Talking about Hot Fuzz. Josh, Merinin, and Nathan, just talking about you. Hello, everybody. Okay, as I managed to split these questions up over 2 Facebook posts, annoyingly, let's go to the other one. From Ellen, you're a hybrid author, but do you prefer one over the other? That swings and roundabouts. I don't like not having constant control over my books. Don't like having to wait for updates on how many figures are going, etc. But on the other side, I enjoy not having to market half my books. I'm awful at marketing, and that's the bad side of writing for me, is the business side of it. I'm quite happily just chucking down words, making stories, and getting paid for it. But that's not the reality of it as an indie author. So I enjoy both. But it's a case of whether you want all the money with the stress or whether you want less money with less stress. I'll let you know when I figure it out. One from Paul. Paul 7, he's a friend of mine from my previous life, who was my technical advisor for after it happened with all things being ninjury. All-time favorite book of yours you'd like to see written by a different author, who would it be? Right, if I'm getting this right, I'm a bit of an Orwellian conspiracy theorist. I'd love to see 1984 rewritten for the modern age by someone of Stephen King status, probably Stephen King. So to see that kind of world brought into now, I'd definitely read that. Another one from Ellen. Is it true you're going to read letters for the upcoming Ask the Editor feature on Keystroke Medium? Because your accent lends legitimacy for the proceedings. One, I only sound posh if you're on the other side of the Atlantic. And 2, yes, I will read the questions for your video, Ellen. Ignoring a couple of these because I'm being wound up. Lauren, also of Keystroke fame. So, say someone's got a brilliant book that will sell massively, hypothetically speaking, how do you find an agent? I don't know. I don't have an agent. I've dabbled with Contact recently, and we'll not go in there. I know this is the subject's been covered by many people many times. If you've got a brilliant book that will sell well, you believe in it, self-publish it. There is an awful lot of help on 2 or 3 Facebook groups where you can go to figure out everything you need to know to get your book published. Yes, you will have to invest in the covers and the editing, but if you believe in it, you're not going to do it for free. So invest. Right. Anyone on the live chat got any more questions? That's just opening myself up for lots of jokes. Lots of Hot Fuzz jokes on there. Just talk amongst yourselves while I find more questions. It's fine. Well, another question unrelated to this from the fan group. What's people's thoughts on the most embarrassing thing to do or the most inappropriate thing to do at a book signing? Now, I'm not a policeman anymore, but I see some suspicious activity here. So if I do end up kidnapped, Pamela Anderson style, when I do my book signing next month, then just look at the Facebook group to figure out who did it. Patterson. Other things, bring a signed copy of your own book and ask for payment. That's pretty funny. Bring a cup of coffee, place it on the table whilst the author's signing a book, accidentally knock it over, covering the table and the book's in coffee. Don't do that. Pulling out a pair of knickers and asking the author to sign it. I'm not going to sign anything that isn't my book bought from the actual store, just so you know. Order a stripper to perform during the signing to celebrate the release. Perform what? Very strange. Okay, so that's the questions answered. That's where I am. Have a great weekend. I'm going to get back to doing some words. Goodbye.